The room smelled like vanilla cake and cheap balloons, sweet, bright, innocent. The kind of smell that makes you think life is simple. Mia sat in her high chair, a tiny crown on her head, frosting already on her cheeks. Everyone around her was smiling, clapping, filming. My wife, Lauren, leaned in close to Mia like the perfect mother in the perfect moment. And me? I stood behind the crowd, holding a small white envelope in my hand, like it weighed 100 pounds. "Come on, Ethan," Lauren called out, laughing like this was just another happy memory. "Get over here. You're her dad. You have to help her blow out the candle." Her dad. I felt those two words hit my chest like a cold door slamming shut. Because minutes earlier, sitting in my car, the engine off, I had opened that envelope and read a truth that turned my whole marriage into a stage play. Not my child. Not even close. And the part that still makes my hands shake when I think about it is that Lauren wasn't just hiding the truth from me. She was counting on me never finding it. I watched her brush a strand of hair behind her ear, something she always did when she was nervous. She was doing it right now, over and over, like her fingers couldn't stop. She knew I was acting different all day. Quiet, distant, too controlled. She didn't know why. Not yet. The guests started chanting, "One, one, one," while someone dimmed the lights. Phones rose up like a wall of little glowing eyes. Lauren looked at me again, and her smile tightened. "You okay?" she mouthed. I nodded and stepped forward, forcing my face into something calm. My heart was not calm. My heart was a storm. I took my place beside her, beside Mia, and I stared at the candle flame, dancing like it was mocking me. This was supposed to be our moment, our family, our miracle baby. That's what Lauren always called Mia. Our miracle. But miracles don't come with secret paperwork. Miracles don't come with lies that stretch for years. And here's the part nobody in that room understood. I wasn't there to ruin a birthday. I was there to stop a lie from growing another year older. Lauren leaned close to me, whispering, "After this, we'll open gifts, and then you can do your little speech. You promised." My little speech. Yeah, I did promise. But she thought the speech was going to be about love and gratitude and how proud I was to be a father. She had no idea my speech was going to change the temperature of the entire room. The candle flickered. Mia giggled. Lauren said softly, like a prayer, "Make a wish, baby." And I thought, oh, I already did. I wished for the truth. And now that I had it, I was about to light up everything Lauren tried to keep in the dark. "All right." Lauren clapped. Everybody quiet. Ethan's going to help her blow the candle. I put my hands on the tray of the high chair. My fingers were steady. My voice was steady when I said, "Before we do, I need everyone to listen. Just for a minute." Lauren's head snapped toward me. Her eyes narrowed, like she felt it, like she smelled smoke before the fire. "What are you?" she started. I smiled. Not warm. Not friendly. A smile you wear right before you step off a cliff. "I found something," I said. "Something about Mia." The room went still, the way it does right before thunder. And Lauren? Lauren turned pale. Because deep down, she knew exactly what I was about to say. If you met us a few years ago, you would have called us a solid couple. I was 42. Lauren was 38. We lived in a quiet neighborhood outside Chicago. I worked in logistics, long hours, steady pay. Lauren did marketing, mostly from home. We weren't flashy. We weren't perfect, but we looked stable. And for a while we were. The cracks started with something we didn't talk about at dinner parties. We couldn't have a baby. At first, we joked about it. Maybe we'll be the cool aunt and uncle. Lauren would say with a smile that never reached her eyes. Then the joke stopped, month after month. Doctor visits, tests, awkward waiting rooms, and those long silent drives home where the radio suddenly felt too loud. When the doctor finally told us the truth, that my chances were slim, Lauren nodded like she understood. But later at home, she locked herself in the bathroom and cried so hard I could hear it through the door. That sound, it changes you. I started blaming myself. I started working more, thinking money could fix what biology wouldn't. Lauren started scrolling baby pictures late at night, her face lit up by her phone like a ghost. We tried options. We talked about adoption. We talked about donors. And every time we got close to a plan, Lauren would pull back. "I don't want it to feel fake," she said once. Fake. That word comes back to me now like a cruel joke. Then, out of nowhere, Lauren sat me down one evening with the kind of serious face that usually means bad news. But this time, her eyes were shining. "I'm pregnant," she whispered. I stared at her. I didn't even breathe. "What?" I said, like my brain couldn't accept the sound. She nodded quickly, tears spilling. "I didn't want to tell you until I was sure." My first reaction was shock. My second reaction was joy, so intense it hurt. I picked her up and spun her around like we were 25 again. I called my mom. I cried. I prayed. I promised I would be the best father on earth. And Lauren? Lauren played the part perfectly. She did all the cute announcements, the little bump photos, the nursery boards, the late-night cravings. But there were things that didn't fit. She kept me out of certain appointments. "It's just routine," she'd say. "You're busy anyway." She got weird about paperwork, weird about insurance, weird about hospital details. And when I tried to push, she'd get emotional. "Why can't you just be happy?" she'd snap, and I'd back off because I didn't want to stress her. That's the thing about love. Sometimes it makes you ignore the alarms because you don't want to believe the house is burning. Mia was born on a rainy Tuesday. The moment I held her, everything changed. She was tiny, warm, fragile. Her fingers curled around mine like she knew me. Lauren watched me with this soft smile, and she said something I'll never forget. She saved us. And I believed her. I believed Mia was the thing that glued our marriage back together. I believed Lauren, and I had survived the worst. I believed we were finally a real family. But there was one detail Lauren never explained. A detail she kept hidden like a locked drawer. Because Mia wasn't a miracle that happened to us. Mia was a secret Lauren built around us. And the truth was always going to come with a price. The first time I felt that cold feeling, it came from something stupid. A receipt. I was cleaning out the kitchen junk drawer one Saturday morning. You know the kind. Old batteries, takeout menus, random keys you don't recognize. Under a stack of coupons, I found a folded piece of paper. Hospital billing. It wasn't unusual. We had a baby. Babies are expensive. But what caught my eye was a name listed under a responsible party. Not mine. Not Lauren's. A man's name. Ryan Keller. I stared at it, thinking it had to be a mistake. Maybe the hospital mixed something up. Maybe it was an old form. But the date matched Mia's birth week. My stomach tightened. I walked into the living room where Lauren was bouncing Mia on her hip. "Hey," I said, trying to sound casual. "Who's Ryan Keller?" Lauren froze, just for half a second. But I saw it. That tiny pause people have when they're deciding whether to lie or tell the truth. Then she laughed too quickly. "What? I don't know." "Why?" I held up the paper. This was in the drawer. Her smile dropped like a mask slipping. She stepped closer and snatched it from my hand. "That's nothing. It must be a billing error." "A billing error with a full name?" I asked. Lauren's eyes hardened. "Ethan, please. Don't do this. I'm tired." Tired. That word was her shield. Her way of ending conversations. I let it go, not because I believed her, because Mia started crying, and Lauren used the moment to walk away. But I couldn't unsee it. After that, more little things started popping up like warning lights. Lauren's phone buzzing late at night. Her turning it face down when I walked in. Her stepping outside to take a quick call, even when it was freezing. And then there was the day I heard a name on the baby monitor. Mia was asleep. Lauren was in the nursery, talking softly while folding laundry. I was in the kitchen, and the monitor was on. Lauren's voice came through, quiet and sweet. "You'll see her soon, Ryan. I promise." I stopped moving. My hands went cold. I leaned closer to the monitor, like maybe I misheard. But I didn't. Then Lauren's voice again, almost pleading. "Just be patient. Ethan can't know." My heart started pounding so loud, I thought it would echo through the house. I walked to the nursery door and listened. Silence. Then I heard Lauren humming like nothing happened. When I stepped inside, she turned around with a smile that looked practiced. "Hey," she said, "everything okay?" I stared at her, searching her face for the wife I thought I knew. Yeah, I lied. Everything's fine. But it wasn't fine, because now I had two things: a man's name on hospital paperwork, and my wife whispering that name like it belonged in our family. That night, I didn't sleep. I just lay there, listening to Lauren breathe, wondering how long she'd been living a life beside mine, without me in it. And then I did the one thing I never thought I'd do. I looked through her phone. I didn't want to be that guy. I hated the idea. But suspicion is like a splinter. The more you ignore it, the deeper it goes. Her phone was locked, of course, but I knew her passcode, our anniversary date. The irony almost made me laugh. I opened her messages, and there it was, a thread saved under a fake name, just a single letter. R. My thumb hovered over it, trembling, because I already knew. Whatever was inside that thread, it was going to break something in me. Still, I tapped it, and the first message I saw made my vision blur. I miss her. I miss you. When can I see my daughter? My daughter. Not the baby. Not Mia. My daughter. I sat there in the dark, holding Lauren's phone, while the world I thought I lived in started to fall apart in silence. I didn't confront Lauren right away. Not because I was scared of her, because I was scared of what I would become if I did it too soon. When you find out the person you trusted most has been playing you, there's this moment where your mind tries to protect you. It says, maybe there's an explanation. Maybe it's not what it looks like. But deep down, you already know. Still, I needed proof that couldn't be talked away with tears and excuses. So I did what any man in my position would do. Quietly, carefully, and with my heart in my throat. I took screenshots of the messages. I saved the hospital billing. I watched Lauren like I didn't know her. And the more I watched, the more I realized something worse than cheating. She wasn't just hiding the truth. She was managing it, like a business, like a plan. Over the next 2 weeks, I paid attention to patterns. Every Thursday afternoon, Lauren took Mia to the park. But she'd come home with no stroller dirt, no grass stains, no sun in her hair. Just perfume refreshed and a strange brightness in her eyes. One Thursday, I followed her, not like a movie chase. No drama. Just me, keeping distance, hands tight on the steering wheel. Lauren drove across town to a quiet cafe with outdoor seating. And there he was, Ryan Keller. Tall, clean-cut, the kind of guy who looks like he's never had to sweat for anything. He stood up the moment Lauren walked in, and then he reached for Mia, like it was normal, like he'd done it before. He held her gently, kissed her forehead, and smiled down at her like she was his whole world. Lauren sat across from him, laughing softly, leaning in close like a woman in love. And right there, watching through my windshield, I felt something inside me go numb. Not rage, not sadness, something colder. Because now it wasn't just suspicion. It was reality. My wife had been sharing our child, her child, with another man behind my back. I drove home before they left because I didn't want a scene. Not yet. That night, I sat at my desk and ordered a DNA test kit. I told myself I didn't need it, but I did, because once the truth is spoken out loud, you can't put it back. When the kit arrived, I waited until Lauren was in the shower. I swabbed Mia's cheek gently while she babbled at me, trusting me completely. That nearly broke me, because Mia didn't ask for any of this. She didn't choose lies. She didn't choose betrayal. She just chose me, because I was there. The results took a week. That week felt like a year. Lauren noticed my distance. She tried to pull me back in with little touches, little smiles. One night, she curled up beside me on the couch and whispered, "I'm so happy we're doing okay again." I stared straight ahead and said nothing, because I was thinking, we're not okay. You're just comfortable. Then the email arrived. I sat in my car again, like I did on the day of the birthday party, hands shaking. I opened the results. And there it was in cold, simple words. Probability of paternity, 0%. 0. Not low, not uncertain. 0. I stared at the screen until the letters stopped looking like letters and started looking like a sentence carved into my life. Not the father, which meant Lauren had lied from the start. And Ryan? Ryan wasn't just some guy she used to know. He was Mia's real father. He was the reason that hospital bill had his name. He was the R in her phone. He was the person she promised would see her soon. The betrayal wasn't a moment. It was a system, a whole second life hidden inside my home. And the worst part? When I look back at our past with this new truth, I realized Lauren didn't forget to tell me. She chose not to. She let me sign forms as the father. She let my family throw baby showers. She let me hold Mia and call her mine because she needed me, my stability, my house, my reputation, my paycheck. And now, standing inside a room full of guests at Mia's first birthday, holding that envelope, I understood something clearly. Lauren didn't just betray me. She used my love like a tool. So I made a choice, not to explode, not to scream, not to get even in some ugly way. I decided I was going to get the truth, and I was going to deliver it in the one place Lauren felt safest, in front of everyone. Revenge doesn't always look like shouting. Sometimes revenge is calm. Sometimes it's paperwork, patience, and perfect timing. After the DNA results, I didn't sleep much, but I did think. I thought about Mia's giggle, her tiny hands, the way she looked for me when she was scared. I thought about Lauren and how she could kiss me goodnight while keeping a whole other man in her pocket. And I thought about Ryan, because a guy doesn't just accidentally let another man raise his child. That means there was an agreement, a deal, and deals have weak points. So I started building my case like a wall, brick by brick, silent and strong. First, I met with a lawyer. Her name was Denise Harper. Sharp eyes, calm voice, the kind of woman who's seen every kind of betrayal and doesn't flinch. I laid everything out, the billing, the messages, what I saw at the cafe, the DNA results. Denise didn't react emotionally. She reacted strategically. Ethan, she said, your biggest strength is that you didn't confront her right away. What do? I asked. You protect yourself, she said, and you protect the child. Because Mia is innocent, but the adults, they made choices. Denise explained something that made my stomach twist. Legally, on paper, I was Mia's father. My name was on the birth certificate. That meant Lauren had built her lie into the system, and now it could explode in ways she didn't control. Denise said, if you do this wrong, you could lose access to Mia completely. That hit me hard, because even though Mia wasn't biologically mine, in every way that mattered, I was the only father she had ever known at home. So I promised myself something right then. No matter what Lauren did, no matter what Ryan tried, Mia would not be a weapon. The truth could hurt Lauren. It could embarrass Ryan. But Mia would be protected. Second, I gathered evidence like a man packing for a storm. Screenshots, dates, photos of Lauren at the cafe with Ryan, taken from a distance, copies of the hospital billing. I didn't do it for drama. I did it because liars don't admit the truth when you ask politely. They admit it when you corner them. Third, I set the stage. Mia's first birthday was coming up. Lauren wanted it big. Family, friends, co-workers, neighbors. She wanted a perfect celebration, like she could prove something to the world. And I realized that party wasn't just a birthday. It was Lauren's victory lap. A year of lies, smiling for cameras. A year of me being the reliable husband, the proud dad, the stable provider. And Lauren wanted everyone to clap for it. So I played along. I smiled when she picked decorations. I nodded when she chose the cake. I even practiced a little dad speech with her one night. You're such a good man, she told me, kissing my cheek. I almost laughed, not because it was funny, because it was insane how easily she said it. The night before the party, I did one more thing. I sent a message to R, not from Lauren's phone, from mine. Short, clean, no emotion. I know who you are. Be at the party tomorrow. 3 p.m. If you don't show up, the truth still will. I didn't know if he'd come, but I knew something. People like Ryan don't like losing control. And Lauren? Lauren didn't like being exposed. So I made sure the moment came with witnesses. Because in private, Lauren could cry and twist a story. In public, the truth would stand on its own feet. That morning, I put the DNA results back in the envelope. I looked at myself in the mirror. I didn't see a monster. I saw a man who had loved too hard and been played for it. Then I whispered to myself, stay calm, stay clean, stay smart. And I walked into that party like I was stepping onto a stage. Lauren thought I was there to celebrate, but I was there to end the performance. The candle was still burning when I asked everyone to listen. At first, people smiled like this was a cute part. Someone said, Dad's about to get emotional. Lauren forced a laugh, but her eyes were locked on mine like she was trying to read the future. Ethan, she whispered through her teeth, what are you doing? I kept my voice gentle, calm, almost warm. I just want to say something real, I said. The room leaned in. Phones kept recording. Lauren's mom, Susan, smiled proudly. My brother, Mark, raised his eyebrows like, what's going on? I looked down at Mia. She stared up at me with wide eyes, frosting on her lip, and I felt a sting behind my eyes, because this wasn't her fault. So I spoke carefully. Mia, I said softly, you're the brightest thing that's ever happened in this house. Lauren exhaled like she was relieved, like she thought she was safe. Then I lifted my gaze to the room. And because you matter, the truth matters. Lauren's face tightened again. I continued. For a year, I've been told a story about how Mia came into our lives. Lauren shook her head slightly, a warning, but I didn't stop. And I believed that story, because I trusted my wife. The word trusted came out like a cracked mirror. A few people shifted. The air changed. Lauren stepped closer, whispering, please, not here. Not here. Of course. Because liars always want privacy when it's time for truth. I opened the envelope slowly. It sounded loud in the silence. Paper against paper. My hand didn't shake. I found out this week, I said, that I am not Mia's biological father. The room froze, like someone hit pause on life. A chair creaked somewhere. A baby babbled in the corner. Then even that sound felt too loud. Lauren's mouth opened, but no words came out. Susan blinked fast. Mark's face dropped. And someone, one of Lauren's friends, whispered, what? Lauren grabbed my arm hard enough to hurt. Her nails dug in. Stop, she hissed, eyes shining with panic. Stop right now. I gently removed her hand. Lauren, I said, still calm, you had a year to tell me. Lauren's voice cracked. Ethan, please. I lifted the paper slightly. I have the DNA test results, I said to the room. And I have other proof. Lauren's dad, Frank, stood up slowly like his knees forgot how to work. What proof? He asked, voice tight. I turned slightly, scanning the crowd, and then I saw him, Ryan Keller, standing near the hallway, half hidden behind a group of guests, like he hoped he could blend into the wallpaper. Our eyes met. His face went stiff. Lauren followed my gaze, and when she saw him, it was like her soul left her body. Ryan, she whispered, barely audible. Now the room really started buzzing. People turned, confused, trying to see. I spoke again, louder this time. Mia's biological father is here. Gasps. Lauren's friend covered her mouth. Susan's face went paper white. Frank looked like someone punched him without touching him. Ryan started to step back, but I raised my hand. No, I said, don't run. You've been part of this too long to run now. Lauren's voice rose, sharp and desperate. Ethan, you're ruining her birthday. I looked down at Mia again. I'm not ruining her birthday, I said quietly. I'm saving her future from a lie. Lauren's eyes filled with tears. But I didn't feel sorry for her tears anymore, because I remembered how she slept next to me at night, holding secrets like they were normal. I faced the room. For a year, I said, I've loved Mia like she was mine, and I still love her. My voice almost broke there, but I held it together. But I will not be used. I will not be lied to. And I will not be forced to play happy family, while the truth sits in a cafe across town every Thursday. That line hit like lightning. People started speaking at once. Cafe. Thursday. Oh my God. Lauren's knees looked weak. She reached for the edge of the table like she needed it to stand. Ryan finally spoke, voice low, tense. Ethan, man, we can talk privately. I laughed. One short sound. No humor. Now you want privacy? I asked. I turned to Lauren, and for the first time, I let my anger show in my eyes. Tell them, I said. Tell them how you did it. Tell them what you planned. Lauren shook her head, sobbing now. I didn't plan. Stop, I said, and my voice cut through her like a blade made of ice. You planned every step. Then I looked at the candle. Still burning. Still dancing. Go ahead, I said softly. Make a wish. And that's when Mia clapped her hands and laughed. Completely unaware, she was sitting in the middle of the biggest truth her family had ever tried to bury. The party ended the way storms end. Suddenly, not with a neat goodbye, with people leaving in silence, grabbing coats, eyes wide, whispering in corners like they were afraid the truth might follow them home. Lauren's mom tried to pull Lauren into a hug, but Lauren looked past her like she couldn't even see her. Ryan stood by the door for a moment like he wanted to say something, then thought better of it. Before he left, I stepped in front of him. Don't contact me, I said. Contact my lawyer. He blinked. You're really doing this? I leaned closer, voice low. You did this, I said. I'm just ending it. He swallowed hard and walked out. Lauren didn't chase him. That told me everything. Ryan wasn't a love story. Ryan was a complication. The secret she managed. When the last guest left, the house felt bigger and colder. Balloons still floated near the ceiling like dumb little ghosts. The cake sat half-eaten. Candle melted into wax. Mia was fussy, rubbing her eyes, needing a nap. Lauren stood in the kitchen, shaking. You humiliated me, she said, voice raw. I stared at her. No, I replied. I exposed you. Her face twisted. You could have talked to me. I let out a slow breath. I tried. I asked you about Ryan. I heard you on the monitor. You lied every time. Lauren's tears spilled again. I was scared. Of what? I asked. Of losing me or losing what I provide? That landed hard. She opened her mouth, then closed it. And in that silence, I realized something painful. Lauren loved the life we built, but she didn't respect the person who built it with her. Denise moved fast. Within days, divorce papers were drafted, not as revenge, as protection. I also filed to establish the truth legally, not to abandon Mia, to make sure Lauren couldn't twist the story later and paint me as the villain, because I knew what was coming. People like Lauren don't accept consequences. They rewrite history. She tried. Too. She told some friends I snapped. She hinted that I was unstable. But evidence doesn't care about rumors. Screenshots don't cry. Dates don't change because someone feels embarrassed. Then came the hardest part. Mia. Denise explained options. Custody issues. Legal titles. The possibility that Ryan could push for rights. My stomach turned every time Mia reached for me, smiling, trusting. One night, as I rocked her to sleep, I whispered, I'm sorry, baby. I'm sorry the adults failed you. And I meant it. Lauren started acting like she was the victim. She'd say things like, you didn't have to do it like that. Like the problem was my timing, not her betrayal. But here's what she never understood. When someone steals your reality, they don't get complained about how you take it back. A week later, Ryan's wife showed up at my door. Yes, Ryan had a wife. Her name was Megan. She looked like someone who hadn't slept in days, eyes swollen, jaw tight. I didn't know, she said, voice trembling. I didn't know he had a child with your wife. I just stared at her, because the betrayal kept growing like a shadow you can't outrun. Megan held up her phone. I found messages, years of them. I nodded slowly. I did too. She swallowed. Are you going to fight him? I thought about that. About revenge that turns into obsession. About pain that makes you destroy yourself just to hurt someone else. No, I said quietly. I'm going to tell the truth and let the truth do what it does. Megan's eyes filled. Thank you, she whispered, and walked away like she was holding her world together with tape. Lauren found out Ryan's marriage blew up, and she called me screaming. This is your fault, she yelled. I stayed calm. No, I said. This is the cost of lying. There was silence on the other end. Then Lauren whispered, I never meant for it to go this far. And I finally said the thing that had been sitting in my chest for weeks. Lauren, I said, it went this far the moment you decided I didn't deserve the truth. After that, the fight wasn't loud anymore. It was legal. It was quiet. It was reality catching up. And through all of it, I kept one promise. Mia would not pay for what her mother did, even if I had to rebuild my whole life from scratch. 3 months later, the house looked different, not because of furniture, because of energy. Laura moved out to an apartment across town. The divorce was in motion, and the legal side of Mia's situation was being handled carefully. Ryan tried to step in like a man making a late claim on a prize. He filed requests. He made demands. He sent messages through lawyers. But what Ryan didn't expect was this. He wasn't walking into a fairy tale. He was walking into the wreckage of choices he helped make. Mia stayed in my life, not because I wanted to win, but because I had been her father in every real way for a year, and the court could see that. Lauren hated that. She wanted to control the story again, to make me the angry husband who overreacted. But the truth didn't match her script. And slowly, the world around her stopped clapping. Friends became distant. Family stopped defending her. Even her dad, Frank, looked at her differently after that day. One evening, Lauren came to pick up Mia. She stood at the doorway, quiet, tired, like the weight of everything had finally reached her shoulders. I didn't think you'd actually leave, she said. I held Mia on my hip. Mia played with my shirt collar, smiling. That's the problem, I said softly. You didn't think. Lauren's eyes filled again. I loved you. I nodded once. Maybe you did, but love without honesty is just control wearing perfume. She flinched like I slapped her, but I wasn't trying to hurt her. I was telling the truth, something she'd avoided for years. Before she left, she looked at Mia and whispered, I'm sorry. And for the first time, I believed she meant it. Not because she suddenly became a better person, but because consequences finally spoke louder than her excuses. After she drove away, I sat on the couch in the quiet house and let myself feel it. The grief, the anger, the relief. Because there's a strange peace that comes when you stop arguing with reality. I didn't win in a way that felt good. I lost a marriage. I lost a version of my life I thought I had, but I gained something I didn't expect. My dignity, my clarity, my voice, and I learned a lesson I wish I never had to learn. Sometimes, the person who smiles at you the most is the one hiding the sharpest secret. But here's the moral part, the part one want you to really hear. Revenge isn't always about making someone hurt. Real revenge, real justice, is refusing to stay trapped in someone else's lie. It's choosing truth even when it embarrasses you, even when it breaks your heart, even when people whisper, because a lie grows in silence. It gets stronger when everyone keeps the peace. But the moment you speak the truth out loud, the lie starts to collapse under its own weight. If you're watching this and you've ever felt that cold feeling in your gut, that whisper that something isn't right, don't ignore it. Don't let love turn you blind. Ask questions. Look closer. Protect yourself. And if the truth hurts, let it hurt, because pain is temporary. But living inside a lie, that destroys you slowly. Mia will grow up one day and ask hard questions. And when she does, I'll tell her something simple. You were always loved, but the adults made mistakes, and the truth mattered. Then I'll tell her the one thing I know for sure now. The strongest people aren't the ones who keep pretending. They're the ones who finally stand up and end the performance.